Purushottamam Sa Sarvavid Bhajanti Mam Sarvabhavena Bharata. Translation: whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service of me, O son of Bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. There are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of the living entities and the Supreme Absolute Truth. Now, in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the Absolute Truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. And still, there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the Supreme Absolute Truth and the living entities to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here, Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Simply to hear like the hogs is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, knows the purpose of the Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of the Vedas. The word bhajati is very significant. In many places, the word bhajati is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness, in the devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth. He has already come to that point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary processes of understanding. But if anyone, after speculating for hundreds of thousands of lives, does not come to the point that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that one has to surrender there, all the speculation for so many years and lives is a useless waste of time. Om Ajnanatimiratasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him and all the members of the Guru Parampara. Vanchakalpatirubhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who fulfill the desires of everyone and are very compassionate for the fallen conditioned souls. So we read from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 19. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So in this verse, Sri Krishna says, if one engages in devotional service, what are the devotional services? There are 9 main forms of devotional services. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Agna Nivedanam. So hearing, chanting, it goes on like that. So there are 9 forms of devotional services, and if one engages in the devotional service, then we will know Krishna. So if we know Krishna, we will know all of the Vedas. And if we know all of the Vedas, we know everything else. So 4 verses before this 19th verse, in this famous verse of 15:15, Sarvasya chaham pradisannivishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarve ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So in this verse 15:15, Lord Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart. So Krishna, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. I am the knower of Vedas, I am the compiler of Vedas, and I am to be known by the Vedas. So, in summary, from this purport by Srila Prabhupada, if we perform devotional service, these main 9 forms of devotional services, then we will know Krishna, and because we know Krishna, we will know everything else, including the Vedas. And in this purport, clearly Prabhupada is saying some of the stubborn commentators. And what are the stubborn commentators saying? They are saying Ishvara is the same as Jiva. So Ishvara is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and some of these commentators say we are God, which is the Mayavadi philosophy. So here clearly Prabhupada says Ishvara and Jiva are different, which is the Ishvara, Jiva, Veda. Veda means difference. And what is our constitutional position? So if we are not Ishvara, then who are we? Jivere Swarupe Aya Krishnare Nityada. So our constitutional position is to be the servant of the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of God. That's what we are, Jiva. And one who clearly distinguished the difference between Ishvara, which is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Jiva, souls like us who are part and parcel of the Lord, was Madvacarya. Madvacarya is one of those great personalities, and we in ISKCON are all coming from Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Prabhupada is the 32nd Acharya in this Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. So from Lord Krishna, after Lord Krishna is Brahma. After Brahma, it's Narada Muni. After Narada Muni is Vyasadeva. After Vyasadeva is Madhvacarya, 5th in this chain of disciplic succession. And coming all the way down is 32nd is Srila Prabhupada. So that is Madhvacarya, and Madhvacarya put forward, you may have heard about this, Panchabeda. Very, very simple process of distinguishing between Ishvara and Jiva. We are all Jivas, spirit souls. So there is a difference between Ishvara and Jiva. That is called as Ishvara Jiva Veda. And then there is a difference between Ishvara and Jada. Jada is inanimate object. Ishvara Jada Veda. And then Jiva Jada Veda. We are also different from inanimate matter. And then there is difference between one soul and another soul. That is called as Jiva Jiva Veda. And then there is also difference between two inanimate objects, which is called as Jada Jada Veda. So very, very simple process, but it's a very esoteric message that was given by Madhvacarya. This was, Madhvacarya was, to go back actually, on 1st of February, it was the disappearance day of Madhvacarya. Again, as I said, he's one of our greatest acharyas, and he was born in a place called Padaka Kshetra. Padaka Kshetra is a place which is in Parshuram Kshetra. Parshuram Kshetra, you may have read in this 8th canto, after Parshuram defeated or actually annihilated 21 generations of Kshatriyas, he gave whatever he had to Kashyapa Muni, and then he wanted to go and meditate because he was Brahmin by birth. So he wanted to meditate, and at that time he realized he did not have any place. So what did he do? He went to a tall mountain and he threw his chopper, the chopper that was used to annihilate 21 generations. He threw his chopper, this is close to Udupi, so he threw his chopper so far that it landed on the Arabian Sea, because this is the west coast of India. He commanded the sea to go back wherever the chopper landed. So he asked the sea to go back, and that became the land, tract of land, according to Srila Prabhupada. It's called Parashuram Kshetra. It actually extends all the way from Maharashtra to Kanyakumari. So this Padaka Kshetra where Madhvacarya was born is in this Parashuram Kshetra. So that is the birthplace of Madhvacarya. And when was he born? He was born in the year 1238 AD. So we are in 2012, so 1238 AD is 774 years ago he was born. So some of you may be wondering, so in 774 years, is it before or after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Definitely it's before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in 1486. So Madhvacharya was born 248 years before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is considered to be the incarnation of Vayu. Madhvacharya is considered to be the incarnation of Vayu. Vayu means very, very powerful personality. One of the demigods is the demigod of wind. So we all know wind, how powerful the wind is. You know, it can cause a lot of destruction. Example is Katrina. We had that few years ago and the devastation that it caused. So it's very strong. Who can control the wind? There's a famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, Chanchalami Mana Krishna Pramadi Balavatridam Tasyaham Nigraham Manye Vayuriva Shudushkaram. So Arjuna is saying, I cannot control my mind. It's easier, it looks like it's easier to control the wind, raging wind, than the mind. But who has ever controlled the wind? When the wind is blowing, when there is hurricane, no country can stop. No country can divert it and send it to a different country. So that is the power of wind. And Vayu, three incarnations of Vayu. One was, anybody remembers what are the incarnations of Vayu?
Bhima.
Very good. Second is Bhima. First is Hanuman. Hanuman is considered to be an incarnation of Vayu. And that was in Treta Yuga. And in Dwapara Yuga, the incarnation of Vayu is Bhima. And in Kali Yuga, the incarnation of Vayu is Madhvacharya. We all know how Hanuman was born. Should we go through that or we can skip that? Some of you may know how Hanuman was born. Again, this is the 8th canto, when they were churning, when the demigods and asuras were churning the ocean of milk, and out of many objects that came, finally the nectar came out, and they were the asuras were supposed to drink the nectar, and then Supreme Personality of God Vishnu came in the form of Mohini Murti and then captivated the asuras and then took this nectar and gave it to the demigod. And then later on, Lord Shiva wanted to see the same form, and he was so confident that he's not going to get captivated. So he asked Vishnu to show that beautiful form of Mohini Murti. And then it's a long pastime, and then finally Vayu collected the male potency of Lord Shiva when he was running after Mohini Murti, and then he placed in the ear of the mother of Hanuman. And what's her name? Anjana. Anjana was the mother of Hanuman. And the story goes that in the previous life of Anjana, what is her name? Anybody remembers her name?
Punjikasthala.
Punjikasthala. Very good. So Punjikasthala is the name of Anjana in the previous life. And what was she? She was the maid servant of Brihaspati. And then she saw some amorous activities and she went and hugged Brihaspati. She was cursed to become a monkey. And then he felt bad, and then he said, your curse will go away as soon as Vayu is taken an incarnation in you. And then when Hanuman was born, she was relieved of that curse. So that was the birth of Hanuman. He's again very, very strong. We all know that, how he lifted a part of the Gandhamara mountain. And the second incarnation, as Prabhu mentioned, is Bhima. So Bhima, how was Bhima born? Anybody remembers? Kunti Devi performed great services to Durvasa Muni. And then Durvasa Muni was so happy with the service of Kunti Devi, so he said, I'm going to bless you where you can get child from any of the demigods. And then before her marriage itself, she called upon sun god Surya, and then she got Karna. And then after she was married to Pandu, then they were living in the forest, and at that time she called Vayu, and then Bhima was born. Bhima again was a very, very strong personality. He used to eat so much, and even in the night it is said that he eats. He doesn't see anything, but he continues to eat. And this propelled Arjuna to practice his archery in the night. We know how he knew that if he practices in darkness, if he's able to hit the target in darkness, then he'll be a great archer. So he used to practice in the night, and so many pastimes are there. How across the river they tied a wooden bird, and they were supposed to look through the reflection and shoot the bird. So he was he became an expert archer, and one of the reasons is because he saw Bhima eating in the night. He doesn't even know what is there. He was eating. And then the pastime where Duryodhana had this house of lac, and Purochana was sent to take all the Pandavas there inside, and they were there for 6 months. And then Purochana's sister and 5 children came, and then she put enough poison to kill 100 people. And what did Bhima, the strong person, did? He ate everything, did not even have any ill effects. So such was the personality of Bhima. He was so strong, but then he was so angry. And then Vidura knew about this plot, so he sent a miner to dig that escape tunnel. So all the Pandavas escaped, but then Bhima put the house of lac on fire, and then Purochana's sister and the 5 children died. And next day when Duryodhana saw, he thought that the Kuti Devi and Pandavas had died. So this is a small pastime of Bhima, the second incarnation of Vayu. And the third incarnation that we are hearing today is that of Madvacarya. And Madvacarya, how was he born? Because there was so much of impersonalism and voidism. All the demigods approached Brahma, and then they said that this needs to be coming to an end. And then Brahma looked at all the demigods, and his vision stopped on Vayu, and he said, so I bless you to go and take care of this matter. So to bring in personalism and disciplic succession again, it was not happening at that time. That was because of Sankaracharya. And before Sankaracharya, it was Buddha, and people were mercilessly killing all the animals in the name of Vedas, and then Buddha came in to renounce Vedic Vedas as well as God, time, place and circumstance. Again, preaching with the time, place and circumstance. And then Buddha came, and then after Buddha, everybody was renouncing Vedas and God, and at that time Sankaracharya came, and which is none other than Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva came, and then in the form of Sankaracharya, and then he introduced Vedas to an extent, and also this concept where we are also God, like Mayavadi philosophy. That was the teaching that was needed at that particular time. And then, so it was so prominent, and that's when the demigods approached Brahma, and then Madhvacharya came, which was 774 years ago. But even before Madhvacharya, about 250 years before Madhvacharya, was the advent of Ramanujacharya. He's from the Sri Sampradaya. So his preaching and his teaching is non-different from Madhvacharya. And so he was, as we said, we heard that he's born in Padakakshetra, which is not far from Udupi. Has anybody heard about the place Udupi in South India? It's close to Mangalore. Anybody's not heard about the place called Udupi? Okay, that's good. Everybody's heard about the place, the very, very religious place called Udupi in South India. And we'll hear some of the pastimes of Madhvacharya. This is based on a book called Madhava Vijaya. Madhava Vijaya was written by the son of Trivikramacharya. So Trivikramacharya was a direct disciple of Madhvacharya, and his son Narayanacharya wrote a book called Madhava Vijaya. And this particular book, compiled by Purna Pragya Das, is actually a drop in the ocean of that particular book. And also what we will hear, some of the pastimes that we will hear today, is again an infinitesimal speck in the drop of ocean of the nectarian pastimes of Madhvacharya. So we'll start off with some of his early childhood pastimes. It's all like stories, wonderful stories. You will really get inspired by this, as I got inspired when I heard these pastimes many years ago. So as soon as Madhvacharya was born, Madhyageya Bhatta is his father, and Vedavati is his mother, Madhvacharya's mother. So as soon as Madhvacharya was born, they had to take him to the temples in Udupi. At that time Udupi Krishna was not there, because later on only Krishna came. But at that time there are two major temples. It's called Chandramoulishwar temple and Ananta Sesh temple. Two temples are there in Udupi. And from where Madhvacharya was born, it takes few hours to go to Udupi. They have to walk and go through dense forest. And it was well known at that time that there are a lot of Brahma Rakshasa ghosts. Pei Pisasan solvangalla. Pei Pisasala, the forest there are a lot of Brahma Rakshasa ghosts were there. And then they had to take this newborn baby through this dense jungle which is infested with thieves and mainly Brahma Rakshasa ghosts. So they knew this, but they have no other choice. They have to take this newborn baby to the powerful temples. So they hired 7 men, very strong men. Not sure how they are going to fight the ghost, but for protection they took 7 men. 3 men were walking in front of Madvacarya, Vedavati and Madvacarya, and then 4 very strong personalities were going behind them. And as they were coming back from Udupi after taking darshan of the Lord, one person behind them suddenly started vomiting blood. He started vomiting blood and he was shaking violently. And then everybody got scared. Okay, he's been possessed by a Brahma Rakshasa ghost. So then Madvacarya, father of Madhvacharya, took some holy water from his pot and he's sprinkling on top of that person. And he's chanting holy mantras to relieve or to get rid of that ghost from the body of this person, one of the bodyguards. Nothing doing. Whatever prayers he's chanting, whatever holy water he's splashing, nothing doing. He keeps on vomiting blood and he's shaking violently. And then that ghost talked to this man who was possessed and he said, I can kill all of you except the incarnation of Vayu, who's there in this form of this little boy. He's a little boy, little baby, newborn baby. Except him, I can kill all of you because to my playground and you dare coming in the night time. That is my area. I can kill all of you. But it's good that you brought this incarnation of Vayu to my playground. I want the dust from his feet. If you put the dust from his feet, I will be relieved of this ghostly body and I will leave all of you and go. So what they did, they took this tiny baby Madhvacharya and then they put his leg on top of this man who was possessed with this Brahma Rakshasa ghost, and immediately again he shook so violently and the blood from his vomit stopped. There's no more vomiting. He fell down in a big thud and then everything was okay. The Brahma Rakshasa ghost went away from this person. So this was the potency of Madhvacharya even when he was a little baby. So not many knew, but then even a Brahma Rakshasa knew about his potency. And then those of you who have, remember when your children were young, we used to do something called as Annaprashna. Annaprashna means first grain giving ceremony for the child. Usually it is done in Guruvayur. So for my kid and for me and my father, everybody, it's in Guruvayur. It's a very auspicious place in Kerala. The Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, is there in that temple. So we usually give Annaprashna there. So here, Madhvacharya was about 6 months old when they still didn't give him Annaprashna. At that time, he had an elder sister. So Vedavati had a daughter who's elder, little elder than Madhvacharya. And then she had to run some errands. She had to go to a shop nearby. So she said, take care of this little boy. He's only 6 months, but I know you can take care of him. And she stepped out. And Madhvacharya started crying, crying, crying. He did not stop crying. So this elder sister was also a small girl. She is really getting worried. What is going on? He needs mother's milk. He's crying. He's a little baby. But the mother is not there. She's looking through the window anxiously. When is mother going to come? Biting her. She's really anxious. No sign of the mother. He continues to cry, 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 cry. Suddenly she had the presence of mind. There was a 40 kg bag of rough grains. You know, these are not the grains that human being can eat. This is for cows. Cows and bulls, they have these big bag of 40 kgs of grain. What she did, she was strong enough to push this 40 kg of rice down. Her intention was this little baby can go and play with these grains. So she pushed the bag of grains down, and Madhvacharya went inside and she couldn't see him from there. He stopped crying. She was so happy. Oh, I did the thing, now I did the trick, so this boy is not going to cry anymore. He didn't cry. And then after a while, her mother came. And then both of them were anxious to see how he's enjoying playing with his fingers on this grain. They went and saw, they were astonished. Almost 40 kgs of grain gone. He ate it. Because he's the incarnation of Vayu. He's a hungry man. He's really hungry. He's very strong. He ate almost 40 kgs of grain that is meant for cows and bulls. So that was his Annaprashna. So they didn't have to take him anywhere. And then another pastime was when he was 3-year-old boy. 3-year-old boy. Any 3-year-old girl is there? How old is she? 4. Slightly younger than her. Madvacarya was there. They do have a lot of cows and bulls in their backyard. And one of the strongest bulls has the sharpest horns. And then what he did, he went quietly, nobody saw that. He crawled, little bit walking, little bit crawling. He caught hold of the tail of this strong bull. And the bull got scared. He's trying to shake this boy off, and he's a heavy boy because incarnation of you. He didn't let go. So he's holding on to the tail, and the bull is running everywhere, through the bushes, through the forest, through stones, rocks, everything. And he goes through the forest and finally goes to the pasturing ground. Everybody is searching helter-skelter for Madvacarya. Where is he? This little boy, somebody has kidnapped him. Everybody is searching everywhere. House, city, but he's not to be found. This bull is happily grazing everywhere. He's still not letting go of his tail. In the evening at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, the bull is coming back. He's again coming, being dragged by the same bull. He did not let go of this bull's tail. So this is another pastime. How strong is he? Never let go of this bull. Whole day was being dragged everywhere. Nothing happened to him. He was when they saw him, they were so relieved, and he was smiling even in the evening. And another pastime when he was 5 years old. Again, all this is from Madhava Vijaya, written by the son of the direct disciple of Madhvacharya. So these are all authentic pastimes. Then another pastime is his father. Anybody remembers his father's name? Madhvacharya's father's name? Madhyageya. Madhyageya is his father's name, and Vedavati is his mother's name. So Madhyageya had purchased a big bull. So he wants more bulls, probably to give more entertainment to Madhvacharya. So he bought a new big bull from a person called Kakrashetty. So there's more pastimes about this Kakrashetty, but this is one that we'll have time for today about him. So this Kakrashetty sold this big bull to Madhyageya, father of Madhvacharya, and he's asking for money. Madhvacharya's father did not have money. He said, I don't have money, I'll give you later. Kakrashetty said, no, I'm not going anywhere. He went and sat near his door staircase, and he's not moving from there. I need my money, give me my money, otherwise I'm not going from here. So at that time, Madhvacharya came and asked his father what's going on. He was a little boy, 5 years at that time. Then he said, I don't have money. And then he's advising Madhvacharya, 3 things if left, if you don't stop it in the beginning stages, it will be a disaster. What are the 3 things? One is fire. If there is a small fire, you have to put out the fire, otherwise the whole house will be consumed. So he said 3 things you have to take care of it right away. It should be stopped. Disease is another one. Just imagine somebody's got cancer. If it's undetected and if it gets bigger, it will be dead. So, and the third one is debt. Kadan. $1,000 you pay it off. Otherwise this 1,000 with all the vaddi will become 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, unmanageable. So 3 things, if not controlled, it will become a disaster and ruin the family. So again, what are they? Debt, disease, and fire. So he's advising him, but he himself is in trouble. He does not have money. So at that time, Madhvacharya said, "Don't worry about it." So he goes to the backyard, and then there is tamarind tree. Tamarind trees are there. Puli kotta irukalla. So he took the seeds of the tamarind and he brought it. He put it one on top of each other. You know, it's a little boy playing with the tamarind seed. He brought it and he's giving it to Kakrashetty. Kakrashetty initially thought, "What is this? A joke? This is a big bull. You know, so expensive." But then, as he was giving in his hand, this tamarind seed changed into gold coins. You may have heard this past time. So the tamarind seeds, such is the personality of Madhvacharya. So all the tamarind seeds turned into gold coins. And then he was extremely happy. He did not even say thank you to his father. He got this from this little boy and he ran away home. But he's a greedy man, just like any other person. So he knew that this boy has the potency of converting tamarind seeds into gold coins. He comes after a few days. Now he's hoping to get the full bag of tamarind seeds, which is full bag of gold coins. So he comes again and he's asking little Madhvacharya, please give me some more tamarind seeds. At that time, seed is called bija. So this time he got something more than he can wish, priceless. He got Bhakti Lata Bija. Bhakti Lata Bija means seed of the creeper of pure devotional service. So this time when he came, he got this knowledge of pure devotional service from Madhvacharya, and he was so happy because there was a priceless possession that he got instead of this gold coins. And once, what happened was there was a Mahiman. Mahiman was a demon who had taken this form of a snake. So it is said that he's so strong. This snake has got 5 hoods. 5 hoods, and it's so powerful and strong. It seems when it goes on the rocks, it creates an impression on the rocks. So because he's a demon, he's not a normal snake. So when it goes on the rock, it creates impression. You can see the impression on the stone, on the rocks. Such was this powerful demon. And you know how Madhvacharya killed him? He killed him when he was a small boy, 5 years old, with his left toe. Just put his left toe on him and he killed him. He's a demon. He's killed so many people just by the smoke that comes from his mouth. People die of venom. But here he put his left toe on the head of this 5-hooded snake, who's none other than Mahiman, who's a demon. He killed him. And later on, he had a disciple. His name was Satyatirtha. So together they went to Badrikashram. Badrikashram is the place of Vyasadeva. So he had gone there and he got the blessings of Vyasadeva, and the commentary of Madhvacharya was blessed by Vyasadeva, and he got esoteric knowledge from Vyasadeva. When they were coming back, there was this fierce tiger. There is a very, very powerful tiger that came to attack. It actually came and attacked Satyatirtha, who is a disciple of Madhvacharya. And Madhvacharya, being an incarnation of why he is so strong, he easily wrestled this tiger, and the tiger was killed. Because there's no letting of this tiger, because if you let the tiger go, he was not leaving Satyatirtha. He was coming to attack him again and again. So very easily he killed this tiger. So that was the power of Madhvacharya. And also, Madhvacharya, when they were returning again from Badrikashram on a second visit, they were supposed to cross Ganges, Ganga river is there, they're supposed to cross it. Absolutely, there are no boats to cross. And it's pretty deep Ganges, very, very wide, few kilometers wide. There's no way somebody can cross it by swimming, even if they're expert swimmers. Obviously, they can't walk because it is so deep, and none of the boats are available. So what did Madhvacharya do? Madhvacharya walked on top of the water, and then after few feet, Madhvacharya was not to be seen. He went inside the water. Nobody could see where he was. In few seconds, he came out from the other side of the shore, where there was a Muslim ruler at that time. This we are talking about 774 years ago, which was in 1238 AD. So he was seeing Madhvacharya did not even have wet clothes. So he's coming from inside the water and he did not even have wet clothes. That was the power of Madhvacharya. The moment he saw it, he fell at his feet, sent so many boats for them to be rescued, not rescued, to be brought from one side to the other side. So all the disciples were able to go. Unlimited pastime. Then there was one personality, his name was Shankara. When Madhvacharya was traveling in Goa area, so he wanted to test Madhvacharya. So he offered 4,000 bananas. 4,000 bananas and 30 liters of milk was offered to the Lord, and he told Madhvacharya, now can you please eat? Madhvacharya ate 4,000 bananas and 30 liters of milk. Just imagine if all of us eat 4 bananas, we are full. Talk about 40. Talk about 400. 4,000 bananas he ate, and he washed it down with 30 liters of milk. Because he's again an incarnation of Vayu. He's a very, very powerful personality. And the king in that area saw this powerful personality, and he wanted to get more information about him, and Madhvacharya wanted to leave Goa. He locked him up in a temple. The king locked him up in a big lock, big chain. It's still there, but Madhvacharya walked out. No problem at all. No need of key and nothing. He walked out. And once all his disciples were walking from one city to another city. From Balakshetra, they are going towards actually Udupi. And there were thieves who were coming. They were trying to rob from them. They were thinking all these bead bags, they have so much of money. They were trying to rob them. Madhvacharya knew. So he asked all his disciples, just stand still. Don't move. Just stand still. They all stood still. They all became rocks. They all became rocks. And then the thieves who were coming, they pass all these rocks. And then they go. And then after 10 yards, then they went the other side. They all became normal and then they went. All these robbers turned back and they saw what is going on. These rocks became Madhvacharya and all his disciples, and they are walking away. So unlimited pastimes about Madhvacharya. It's very, very inspiring. But he did not think that he had all these mystical powers, because his only aim was pure devotional service to the Lord. And one last thing, we have a few more minutes. The Udupi temple. So some of you may have heard this pastime as to how the deity in Udupi temple came about. So wonderful, wonderful pastime. So when Madhvacharya was sitting on the shores of Arabian Sea, again in the west coast of India, not far from Udupi, there was severe thunderstorm, and then there was a ship that was coming from Dwaraka. It got stuck there, and with all the rich, expensive, goods that are there, it was about to sink. The captain was about to die. Everybody was about to die. And what did he do? He took a saffron cloth and he waved it in such a way. Come this side, this side, this side. He waved it, and beautifully he saved the entire ship and the captain and all the crew members who were there. And then they fell at the feet of Madhvacharya, and they said, the captain said, you take anything from this ship. It had so much of riches, gold, silver, you take anything. Madhvacharya said, I'm a sannyasi, I don't need anything. I'm insisting, my humble request, please ask anything, please take anything. What did Madhvacharya say? Do you have Gopi Chandan? Gopi Chandan is the tilak, the clay that is found at the bottom of rivers and oceans too. In that case, you'll see how it is. So he said, we have tons of Gopi Chandan we have in the ship. And why? Because they used it as a ballast. Ballast is where you actually, you put that in a ship so that it actually to... Help me out here. Ballast is something where to stabilize the ship. To stabilize the ship, you put ballast, you put weight. For example, if you have a rear wheel car, counterweight. Good, thank you. So if you have a rear wheel drive car, for example, during winter, you will skid in ice. So what people do, they put heavy weight at the back. Have you seen that? They put heavy weight in the trunk. Like that, they put ballast. They use this Gopi Chandan as ballast, heavy weight to balance the ship. So he said, okay, I have so much of Gopi Chandan. So many people in the ship rolled that Gopi Chandan and they brought it out. Immediately it burst out, and this beautiful Makkanchor Krishna was seen. Makkanchor Krishna, in his right hand he had this churning rod, and in the left hand he had the rope that used to turn the rod. So this was the beautiful form. 30 people could not lift it. Madhvacharya by himself, he lifted it, walked a few kilometers away and established in that temple, which is even still there. And the source of this actual deity, it is said, when Krishna was in Dwaraka, his first and foremost wife is Rukmini. And at that time, Mother Devaki was there, and Devaki was heartbroken because she did not see the childhood pastimes of Krishna, because as soon as she gave birth, she was still in the prison, and Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj enjoyed all the childhood pastimes of Krishna. So she was hankering, I want to see that Makkanchor form, the beautiful form of you stealing the butter, with butter in your mouth and the churning rod and the rope in your hand. And then Krishna immediately showed that beautiful form of his in that Makkanchor form. Makkan means butter and chor means thief, in that beautiful form. At that time, when he was showing this form to Mother Devaki, his first wife Rukmini saw that, and she said, oh, this is amazing form. I want to pray to this form of yours. Please make a deity in this form so that I can pray. So Krishna, by that time Krishna came back to his normal, older form, little bit older form. And then when she wanted this deity form, Krishna called Vishwakarma, and he said, I want you to carve exactly as I am. So Vishwakarma carved a beautiful, beautiful deity. And then after the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty, the whole of Dwaraka had actually gone into the ocean. And then when they were actually collecting all this Gopi Chandan, this deity was hidden inside. That is the origin of this Udupi Krishna. And a very interesting fact is also historically Christopher Columbus. You've heard about, everybody knows about Christopher Columbus, right? Christopher Columbus is the one who actually discovered America. And it is said that when he landed in India, he went to India before he discovered America, because he discovered America by chance. He thought it was India, if you remember the history. So he went to India and he landed, it seems, exactly the same place where this Makachor Krishna was found. So that is exactly the same place. So he went there. It is said that he had the blessings. He went to the temple because this was 250 years after the deity was established. Because he came to India around about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, which is 248 to 250 years after Madvacarya's time. So he went to the temple. This temple was so popular even at that time. He took the blessings of Udupi Krishna, and then he came back to Spain. He's from Spain. He came back to Spain, and then he wanted to go back to India because India is possessing so much of wealth. He wanted to get the wealth. So he decided to take a shortcut. And what is the shortcut? He decided to take the route through Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean is to the southern side of Europe. So he thought he'll take the shortcut. Everybody told him, don't take that shortcut route, you'll fall off, because they thought Earth was flat at that time. It's not circle. So they said, if you go there is ocean. A little bit beyond the ocean, you'll fall down. Don't take that. And then he said, no, we are taking it. And when he took this route through Atlantic Ocean, by mistake, he thought it was India and he stopped in America, and that's how America was discovered. So it is said, he discovered America materially, and Prabhupada discovered America spiritually. Right? So that was the difference. So Prabhupada also left by a cargo ship from India through Europe, and he also from India through Europe. So that was some of the wonderful pastimes of Madhvacharya. When we get more time, we can discuss more of these pastimes. Madhvacharya